U-69 right here. Now, this is a German Tier 6 tech tree sub. German subs are known for the ability to use their where is it? Right here. This special reserve battery unit that allows them to basically dive for free for a certain amount of time. Can help them evade trouble if necessary. They also, if I remember correctly, have a torpedo in the front and rear of the sub.
Not a tier 6.
This is the tier 6, right? So it's the 8 and 10 that has that, right?
No, only the German 8 has torpedoes in the back.
Only the 8.
The
Okay,
6
only the
and
one.
10 only are front.
Okay. So, important to know, you will always want to keep your bow to the enemy, of course. So let's take a
No,
look.
wait.
Waiting.
Does it have one in the back?
I thought it did, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it's got one in the stern.
Okay, one. A single torpedo in the back. Never mind.
Yep. You're welcome, Star Wars. Thanks for hanging out. So anyways, there's your one to the stern. As you can tell, this is subs are new to the channel-ish in a sense, and they're new out there, so it is what it is. So you picked up main armaments modification 1, damage control, torpedo tees mod 1, and submarine steering gears mod 2. I believe that's what you would want to be running for your sub. Grunty, would you agree?
I think for a German submarine, yes.
Okay. And now this is a 6-point captain for Iron Meals, so most likely not running Mutlins, and I don't think any of these, other than preventative maintenance, yeah. Okay, so you've chosen to start with Liquidator for Torp Floods, improved battery capacity, and then Watchful, so you have an idea of when you don't want to surface more, right? If somebody's got Hydro running, or somebody's got surveillance radar running, kind of warns you about that so that you are aware not to get yourself into trouble. It's a very important skill to have for subs. I mean, I think it's fine for a 6-pointer. Grunty, do you agree?
Yeah.
I see no problem here.
Yeah, Helmsman could work.
Helmsman is the last point you take if you have one left over. Because
Yeah.
it's not permanent. It only activates if you use your
Hydrophone,
hydrophone first. And
which is
if
here.
it was permanent 10%, then yeah, with 100%.
And you always take it.
Right. And your hydrophone, if I remember right, yeah, this is an infinite number of charges, so you can use it quite a bit. And then you've got no flags, which is fine. It's a tier 6, so whatever. Alright, let's get to the replay then.
I would still use a flooding chance flag.
Flooding chance would help.
They are rather cheap and
They're,
they do help a lot.
yeah, you generally don't need it for other ships. It's really just specific destroyers, carriers, and subs.
Okay.
Like if you look at it from this way, like especially if you're grinding, the potential extra damage you get results in you earning more credits. So the flag, if it's a cheap one, basically pays for itself.
Okay. So this is let's look at the matchmaking. This is a tier 7 to 5 game, so your middle tier. You've got 4 battleships, 5 cruisers, 1 destroyer, and 2 submarines in this game. This is New Dawn. It's a smallish map. Yusha, hello. New Zealand. Ah, Yusha, where in New Zealand are you from, if you don't mind me asking? You got XP, ship XP, and free XP flags out of that. What was it? 12.5 vent camo. Nice. Palmerston North. Alright, I need to apologize. I don't know exactly where that is, so I shall Google Maps it.
Would be funny if that's somewhere in the south.
No, it's on the North Island. Near Wellington. Okay, cool. Very nice. Between Hastings and Wellington. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I've been to New Zealand 3 times. I want to say 3 times. I've only been to the South Island once. But I love New Zealand. It was a fantastic, fantastic country, so I'm quite jelly that you get to hang out in Aotearoa. Alright, so you're going straight into A. While A is being capped, this is kind of a risk. I note that you haven't used your hydrophone. This is a trick that Grunty has talked about using, which is you pop your hydrophone to get an idea of what's in the cap before you go into it. And as you can see, there's the enemy sub that is at the surface. He just dove.
I think it's the problem on the lower tiers that the hydrophone range isn't that great. So you don't want to pop it too early.
Sorry, say that again?
I said at the tier 6s the hydrophone range isn't that big, so you can't pop it as early as you would like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is the range on this? 7 kilometer. Well, it still gives you a chance to cover the entire cap.
It's good enough. Now this is the part where you get to farm.
Right. 2 hits on the Peter Velicki. Hopefully he doesn't DCP that and take some torpedoes in the face.
A torpedo in the face.
Yeah, it's just the butt torpedo. I saw that, yep. Interesting decision to go on the surface here. I mean, you know the enemy sub is nearby. You kind of forced him underwater with your hydrophone. You could go back up on the surface, especially knowing that the Velicki and the Pensacola are nearby.
You only have 1 butt torpedo. It's not that necessary to just run around in circles to use both. You could just honestly just sit bow in for a bit.
Right.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't circle the whole time here too.
Yeah, for American subs, you can get away with it because they are, you know, there's more torpedoes on the rear.
Yeah, American subs kind of have to do that.
The constant pinging here is attracting a lot of attention. Pensacola's
It's okay though, like they don't have the range to punish you for it.
He's
What's
also going around in circles. That's also throwing off their aim.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Now, what is the ASW range of these ships?
About 6 kilometers or so.
You can see there, that's the max range there.
I think it's 8 for the battleships. The
Yes,
cruisers
this
are
is your
like
replay arm, yes. Ah, Candyman.
Yeah, Piotr has 6 kilometers.
Okay.
the tier 6 has 8 kilometers. I guess tier 5 has 6 kilometers.
Okay.
Like, even if it's 8, like, you're constantly maneuvering, you're not necessarily going in the same direction as your ping is coming from when you're doing it. And the German subs are quite maneuverable. So, until they show that they can actually hit that ASW, I think you're fine.
Okay. Now
It's also not that you get one-shotted by it, like, you can just, okay, they hit me with 1 and I DCP and then I'll be more careful in the future.
So you got the ability now, surface and go in. You're using your submarine surveillance, which will detect subs up to 9 kilometers, so this is good for teamwork.
I thought he was hydrated by the Fiji, so that would have not been necessary.
Ah, good question.
Cachalot is also bow in, so he doesn't have much room to maneuver. So I don't think this was necessary.
Okay, Fiji is using hydroacoustic, although we don't know how old that notification is.
This is why you use consumable monitors.
Kapitän, wir wurden entdeckt.
He
Surface.
probably did.
Surface. What are you doing here?
Okay, why surface now?
Well, you can take the free cap here, and you won't be detected on hydrophone.
Ah,
Torpedos auf Steuerbord.
that's the
I'm
big
not sure
part.
if it's possible to shoot somebody when you're like to aim the ping when he's underwater and I'm on the surface.
You don't need to. Fiji's got him. What are you gonna do with your butt torp?
Get some damage.
We did hit with 1 torpedo. It's not enough to kill, but as SAT mentions, the Fiji is just crapping all over him anyway. So you're taking in basically an unnecessary risk here that the Cachalot can hit you and kill you. Chances of that are quite low, but
It's fine here, I think, because like there is no other ship in range that can shoot him too. And
Yeah, I would
realistically speaking, like if he goes on the surface, then the Cachalot can just use the hydrophone and spot him anyway. So it's not that he can really escape that.
I
So-
would have stayed on the surface just to take the cap.
so if he
Fiji's
goes on,
already got
The capping would have been the only thing that
if he goes
really
on the surface, he would have to basically charge the enemy Cachalot and just try to get above him, right, so that he can't get torpedoes on him and stuff.
But I also agree with Seth here. Like the Fiji had that, like that it was no need for pinging the submarine and firing that torpedo.
What I'm concerned is the rest of the game, because once you kill the sub, like, look at the rest of the team. B is already capped. The enemy is trying to collapse onto the rest of your ships at sea, so you need to get there fast.
Right.
And that time spent here not taking a cap, you could have saved 30 seconds to a minute and be already trying to torp the Polaris.
Or the shores, depending on which ship shows up next.
Yep.
This song is making you remember 1997. Surely it was not long ago. I mean, I agree. Here's everyone.
Yeah, rotating flanks is pretty important. Like,
Yep.
a minute or two could actually make the difference.
You could have just fired these torpedoes out while he still wasn't visible, and get the reload going. And then if he shows up in range, you ping him. If he's not in range, then okay, you wasted a set of torpedoes.
Okay.
I think the
Yeah, but if
upside
he's
is fighting them blind is higher than holding the torps.
But I thought maybe the other cruiser will go inside the island because they were.
I thought so
Like-
too. The shores looked like he was coming to the beak cap.
Okay, then fire the torps blind in the cap and hope for the shores coming up there.
So what you're
Like-
saying, Grunty, is fire for where the shores was headed. Maybe you get lucky, get the hip. If you don't, you don't, because your torps on cooldown doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, like they would have been reloaded by now anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, they do reload pretty fast.
Well, fortunately for you, the enemy team's all running away. There's no more battleships for you to farm. It's just the... Well, actually, there's the Fuso. But where the heck is he? He's way at J6 on the border.
Yep. It seems your team has not collapsed, so once you take the cap, you can go ahead and crush whatever cruiser you run into.
And my vote is for the Hawkins, just because it's a Hawkins.
Poor Hawkins. Still, he gets a buff, and he's still regarded as one of the worst cruisers.
Right?
I would go either Hawkins or Shores.
Shores makes sense too.
Hawkins or Polaris, because that Shores looks like he's going to suicide to the rest of your team. Oh, why are you turning out?
Have torpedoes fire?
Yeah, but you
You
forgot to fire
really
your
like
butt
that
torps.
that rear torpedo, huh?
I
I
agree. There was
think
no
here
need. Go ahead, Iron
my thought was that we got A, this flank, let's say, unless they need to push to take us away from here. So I figure, well, let's get away from them. I can kite them for like a few minutes and let my
Yeah.
team from the other side shoot.
But you could have fired your front torpedoes in that thing first, and then turn and fire the butt torpedo if you really wanted to, and
Yeah. Or
get
Yeah,
like
that's true.
twice as many torpedoes off.
what I probably would have done is stopped him first, and then use your torpedoes when you knew you had a shot to get through the channel with them.
You do not need to ping before firing the torpedoes.
No.
You can fire the torpedoes first and then ping after.
The nice thing about pinging is if you get somebody that will DCP that ping right away, then you absolutely get, you know, your next ping hits on them, all that good stuff. Ooh, smart play by that Hawk. Did you just see that?
Kapitän, wir wurden
Yeah,
entdeckt.
he guessed correctly where you were.
And now the Udine decides to come in and play with you. So it might be time to submerge. No? Ah, you're gonna use your butt torpedo again. Here it comes. We already know it's coming.
Why are you using your butt torpedoes?
I think here I wanted to get the island between us. I know it doesn't sound as fun, but I didn't want him to be able to torp me.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of new with subs, no? This is the only sub that I have.
That's okay.
You
There's no
can
need to
definitely have
apologize.
torped you. Like, he can wait. He can fire the torpedo straight behind the island, and then just ping you last second, so the torpedo curves around the island. That's definitely possible to do.
Yeah.
Well,
So you're not necessarily safe behind it.
and most importantly, he isn't spotting you right now. You could have charged him as your torpedoes are cooling down, then you dove, activate your hydrophone, then you blast him at point
Torpedos
blank
direkt
range.
voraus.
Right. So,
Kapitän,
Okay.
wir wurden entdeckt.
you found him, he found you. You're using your auto detect, which is fine. Oh, I gotta get ready for a ram possibility here.
What? You forgot to fire your torpedoes.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Well, you sailed over him.
I'm not sure if, for example, that's possible. Can I be in the surface and ping a sub that is underwater?
If he's underwater, no.
No. You can only ping up, and the torpedoes will also only go up. So you need to be the same height, or beneath, or lower. If
You
you want to
are,
ping and hit him.
You're a great shot with your butt torpedoes. I think you've hit like every single one of them.
Yeah, but you kind of forgot your, you forgot to pay your front-loading torpedoes. I don't think that you've used them too much.
I get the feeling that he's also a new sub player.
Fire them, fire them, fire them. What are you waiting for? You still have the lock on. Fire them.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, too late. If you fired him right away, you might have actually got the hit on him.
I think back then I didn't know that was possible. I thought
okay.
if I didn't see him, then the lock would be in the point where it shows on the map.
Fortunately for
The
you, the
lock-
Fiji shows up and just wrecks him, because that's what the Fiji does. Oh, here, aft
there-
torpedo fire again. Never mind.
Cruiser depth charges.
The way the lock works is, if you fire a torpedo and there is someone a lock on, the
will
torpedo
turn.
doesn't actually go to that point where the lock is.
Mhm.
There is a whole calculation in the back where the game basically takes the current speed and course of the target that the lock is on, and it will calculate where it will be when the torpedo reaches the point. So it's like an interception point, like you have with a radar guided missile or so.
Right.
And that's what happens with the torpedoes too. So even if you don't steal the target anymore, or even if the lock, even if the lock drops off, the torpedo will still go to the last calculated point.
So what you're trying to say is just fire the damn torpedo and pray.
Yeah, fire the torpedo.
It'll continue tracking the target as long as the ping is active.
Yusha, that's right. Fiji's having a great game. Because he's working together, and he did that at A with the Fiji. He did it again here with the Fiji. So it's a good example of good teamwork between a sub and a light cruiser.
You also have like a 90-degree window for the torpedoes. Like you could fire them straight ahead right now and then still ping the target on the left, and the torpedo will recognize that and curve onto it. So you don't necessarily have to face the target to fire the torpedo onto it.
Yeah, that's a little bit more nuanced or advanced for right now. But yeah, you can do that.
Yep,
Do
you can
all
also
sub
spread out the
torpedoes work the
torpedoes
same?
as well.
It works the same for all the homing torpedoes.
Yep.
So the.
There's
So
different
I'm asking, like,
characteristics.
if they turn. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Amiros. It's your replay. Go
I
ahead.
was just asking if the torpedoes turn the same speed. It doesn't matter the nation.
Oh no,
There's differences.
the actual turning for the torpedoes is different for each nation. Yes,
Yes. The British
Some
have
turn
like the best
tighter.
turning.
some not so much.
And the British are better, but as far as I can tell, it's also affected by the torp speed. So, otherwise it should be roughly about the same.
The website
Now here,
that uses. Sorry.
this is problematic. You actually pinged too early. That the torpedoes are going to change to intercept with the shores, but they're going to change into the island, and they're all going to die. There they go. So
Yeah, this is a great example here for the calculated point. Like they are not actually going to where the point is at that moment,
Right.
but rather where the interception point would be, which was behind the island. So the torpedoes crashed into the island.
exactly.
He caused the island to get flooding, so it's not that bad.
If you had fired the torpedoes straight beneath the island, and only after the island was passed by them and then pinged the shores, they would have curved onto it.
Mhm.
They would have ranged, to be honest, but whatever. The game is
Okay,
done.
in that case they would have ranged, but the curve would have happened.
Yes.
The only way I have
And-
played with the curve is like shooting them like really to the right when I want them to curve around the island.
Mhm.
But with the ping already on the ship, that's the maximum I have done. I never use the ping after shooting them.
Right.
The website Sath uses for your build, you can look the detailed stats for the torpedoes there too, and they have the turning stats for them there as well.
Right. Generally,
So
the
if you-
British are better. So, but they're slower torpedoes. Overall, they suck anyway. So, I would focus more on just engagements, when to use your consumables, when not to use your consumables. And then you can learn the nuances. It's like watching soccer or football, right? There are people that can bicycle kick, but you don't learn the bicycle kick first. You learn how to score a goal first. And I feel like you're at the point where learn the goal first, then you can get the bicycle kick later, you know?
I thought you learned first how to even kick the ball.
Well, yes. Sure. Okay. How to pass it, right? But I mean, you came in second place, Emil, so that's not a bad
Yeah, I
game.
mean,
It's
my main
pretty good.
question here was how did I get so much experience? Because I didn't do that much damage, and somehow.
Of
You're
one
sub
full base cap.
Sub experience is busted. They have artificially high multipliers for XP.
One full base
Oh,
cap.
okay.
Because again, they want you to play sub, because if you play sub, you get more experience and therefore you're happier. So one full base cap is honestly what probably did it for you. Plus, you got a couple of torpedo hits on enemy subs. The Lot and the Undine, I think you got one torpedo hit on each. Yes, you did. So That's worth good amount of XP.
A lot of people will make the argument that they get too much XP and tend to agree.
I tend to agree as well, but whatever. It's wargaming.
Hmm.
Also,
That's a balancing factor for subs I can live with, but because it doesn't affect my own
performance.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Also,
this known
try-
that sub have more experience? Is that like a known fact, like open?
It's known.
Let's say.
it's known.
It's just known.
Wargaming announced that they made this. There's a dev blog and I think even a website article about it, that the increased XP gains for submarines.
Right.
So over in A, I think you didn't need to take care of that cachalot there. You could have just ignored him and gone for B.
And that wasted some time, right? Like that wasted 2 to 3 minutes.
You lost you lost even more time now when going to B because of your wiggling, turning left, right for the torpedoes to potentially shoot, because that slowed down the submarine really, really big.
You're trying to chase after 2 cruisers that go pretty fast at max range. Your torps aren't going to reach them.
Like you were
Right.
like you had your throttle setting to full speed, but because of the turning you did, it still dropped down to like 13 knots at some point.
And then on B, I think you could have done the fight against the Udine a little bit better. But here, you should have fired your front torps at the Hawkins first, and then get your butt torps in.
Right. Might as well.
And here they were ready again. You could have just fired them in the gap and okay, you fire them now.
Yeah, and if you had them, you could have actually just used them against the Udine. So instead of going around the island, what I would have done is just charge straight at him, while your torps are reloading.
Okay.
He's not going to spot you unless he uses his own hydro. So, and yours is up. So once your torpedo, a few seconds before it reloads, you can activate it, and then try to get the drop on him because he needs his own hydrophone to spot you.
Right. Fortunately for you, the Fiji is there to clean up the sub.
Yeah, you also missed the opportunity to shotgun him at point blank range. Like, you had your front torps there, but you just didn't use them.
But we talked about that, right? He was pinged, and then he didn't fire his torpedoes. So that would have been very helpful right there.
Your butt torpedo did get one hit, so if you hit with your front torp, you might have killed him.
Yeah, you feel like it seems like you're the master of the butt torpedo, but not so much the fronts. Well, either way, thanks for sending that in. Is there any other questions, Imilos, or are you happy, sir?
I'm really happy. Thanks for all the insight. I hopefully will do better next battle. I thought it was nice. My main question was the experience.
Okay.
But you also answered that.
Great. All right. Well, hey, thanks for all your support, dude, sending the replay and all that, and I'm glad we could help you out.